For more on this, let's welcome back in former Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. Matt, great to have you back on. Good to see you.
Good morning, Rob.
I just want to get your reaction to Chuck Schumer's comments. Sounds a lot like the DOJ and the FBI are getting back at Trump here.
It sure does. And, this is the concern that I think a lot of fair-minded, honest Americans have, which is, it just appears that the Department of Justice is trying to get Trump no matter what. We went through the Mueller investigation. I mean, there's so many other, sort of challenges to his presidency. And now, we have this situation, which, if you read recent reports, it may just be about the Kim Jong-un letter and maybe Obama's letter when he took office in 2016 after Obama left. And, if that's the case, if this is really something that could have been resolved and should have been resolved, short of executing a search warrant and having all of the hue and cry that has happened since and all of the unnecessary leaking and, all of the issues that have surrounded this, I just think, this is putting the American people through a lot more pain and suffering. With record high inflation and everything else going on, it just seems that they could focus their attention elsewhere, including on rising violent crime in our major cities.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to the Kim Jong-un correspondence, that is something that is perfect for a presidential library. If people go to Donald Trump's future library, there'll be a room dedicated to something like, the Abraham Accords, for example. And then you'll see under glass his correspondence with Kim Jong-un, which would be something I would be interested in. What do we get today when this affidavit is released in a few hours?
Well, I want to lower expectations a little bit. Remember, the judge's order says that the proposed redactions from the FBI on the affidavit are due at noon today. That means they're going to make a filing under seal of their proposed redactions. If the judge agrees, then yes, he could probably release it today. If he disagrees, if he says that they were overbroad or went too far with their redactions, he will push back, and obviously the FBI can either agree or disagree. The judge has the final power in the order, but he is going to give the FBI, if he disagrees with them, time to appeal his order to the district court, and then if they still can't agree, to the Court of Appeals and even ultimately maybe the Supreme Court. So we could see it today if the judge agrees with the redactions, but it might be delayed if the judge thinks that the FBI went too far, and instead of producing a document that's usable for the American people and for the media, if they just kind of blacked out everything.
Yeah. Do you see the president 17 days later? Do you see Donald Trump being indicted?
I don't, because he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, if there's no crime committed that I can tell based on all the public reporting. This is a disagreement with the National Archives and what is a presidential record. And if President Trump is planning on having a library and that library is going to have documents in it, this could have been obviously resolved differently, Rob, and it's really disappointing that we're at this point.
Yeah, I think he's delaying construction on the library. He's got a lot of experience in construction, but who knows? He could be president again, so he'd have to delay that.
It's going to be the most beautiful presidential library in the history of the United States.
I think so. I think probably a lot of gold in that library, and red, white, and blue. Matthew Whitaker, great to have you back. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, we've got a lot more.